Good morning, fifth graders. Today we are venturing into our last part of our field trip project with our presentation. So you need to create a presentation that tells us why we should go on your trip. So you have taken the time to plan your field trip to space. Now it is time to convince the school that this is the trip that we should go on. That means you need to give a 5-minute presentation to convince Mrs. Bolter to choose your field trip. How are you going to do that? So you need to first create a Google slideshow or Prezi, or you can choose another presentation platform, but make sure you check with me to make sure that's okay. Then you need to present your slideshow to Mrs. Bolter either by submitting a video of you presenting your slideshow or setting up a time to do a Google Meets with Mrs. Bolter to present your slideshow. What you need to include in your slideshow: a summary of your field trip. So tell us what's going to happen on that field trip. You need to include the bar graph of the cost comparison, a recommended packing list, your suitcase size recommendation, and why we should choose your trip. Here is the rubric. All the slides are present, so your requirements, you're going to be graded on your requirements, your style, your argument, your presentation, and your organization. So your requirements, so that means that you have all those parts that we just went over. So you have a summary, a bar graph, a recommended packing list, your suitcase size, and why you should go on your trip. That's the requirements. To get advanced points, you need to have all those requirements, and you need to go a little above and beyond and tell us a little bit more relevant information that would convince us that we should go on your field trip. To get proficient, you just have to have all that required material. Nearing proficient, you have one slide missing or several slides are missing pieces of information. Beginning steps, one or more slides is missing. 0, you didn't turn anything in. Style. So you want to make this presentation eye-catching. You want it to look and be exciting. You want to have some design and some color scheme. You want it to be, think about those commercials out there. Think about what catches your eye when you are trying to shop for something. You want it to be attractive to people. But you also don't want to get too overcrowded or too much going on in your slideshow, because then that can be distracting. So you want something that catches people's eyes but doesn't distract them at the same time. So think about when you're creating your presentation about adding pictures, adding colors, adding videos into your slideshow. All slides are eye-catching and easy to read. Any media adds and does not distract. Slides are creatively designed but are difficult to read. Slides are easy to read but not very eye-catching, so those are proficient. And then beginning step slides contain information but no effort was put to design them. Okay. So then we come into the main part of your presentation, the argument. That doesn't mean arguing back and forth. That means you're convincing people that this is the field trip that we should go on. So your field trip plan is well presented in both the slides and the presentation. The student has convincing information that makes the trip exciting and enticing. So that means that when you present this information that we want to go on this field trip. So that's going to be in both how you lay out your information on your slides and then how you present it to me as well. The field trip, so for Proficient, the field trip plan is well presented in both the slides and the presentation. For Nearing Proficient, field trip plan is presented, mainly makes sense, but is missing the excitement and draw. Bare minimum of information is shared and the student doesn't seem too excited about the trip. So that's how you get graded on your argument category. Now let's look at presentation. So that's going to be when you are presenting it to me, either through a video or through Google Meets. Your presentation seems well rehearsed. That means you need to practice this presentation before you give it to me or before you record. If you record and you make a mistake, guess what? Stop, start over. So it's well rehearsed with smooth delivery that shows interest and enthusiasm for the project. So when you're presenting, you want to share that emotion that you have for this project with the people that you're sharing it to. For Proficient, it's rehearsed with fairly smooth delivery that shows interest for the project. So that means you did pretty good. Nearing Proficient, delivery not smooth, but able to show interest and enthusiasm for the project. Delivery not smooth and lost the audience attention. Excuse me. So that means that you can't really hold our attention. You're not showing a lot of enthusiasm for what you're talking about. You're just kind of reading off the slides and just doing the presentation to do the presentation. And the last category that you're going to be graded on is content or organization. So that means how your slides are put together. So the content on the slides is correctly organized using headings or bulleted lists. There's not a ton of information on the page, so you don't want to type out exactly what you're going to read. You want it to just be bulleted points. The material is presented in a logical order. For Proficient, you use a heading or bulleted list to organize, but overall organization of the topics appears to be flawed. So that means you have a good start to organization, but there's just a few mistakes here and there throughout your throughout your slideshow. The content is logically organized for the most part. So that means that you have a few more mistakes in your organization, or you just have a little bit too much information on your slides. And there was no clear or logical organizational structures. So there's really no organization at all on your slides. The information was just thrown up there. You don't really have an order to it. You have too much information. It gets just lost in the mumbo jumbo. So you want clear and concise slides. So that means something like this slide. It's short. It could use a little bit more pizzazz to it, but I do have my rocket. I have my title of what the slide is about. I have my points that I would talk about. This slide is a little wordy, but it's because this is an informational. This is like your handout. And then here's my title slide. So this is my title slide. This is what I start with. My title is nice and big and bold. I have some decoration on it. I have two different colors, but they complement each other. And then we just have our rubric slides. So now let's look at a couple of the different ways that we can present our project. There is this free website called Prezi that you can use to create your presentation if you would like. So all you have to do is click Get Started. I'll put the link for Prezi in. It'll be in our assignment, and then you just click Get Started. And you want to not do any of these. You want your basic and you want the free. Then you just sign up with your Google account. So I'm just going to choose my account, and then it'll bring you to this slide where you can create presentations. There's trainings. You can watch the Get Started video. You can make videos. This is another place where you can create a video to submit to me. You can do designs. You can go off of designs for different things. Start from a template, and you can create presentations. You can create from templates. You can create or start from scratch. So that's just going to be a blank presentation. And then it'll just kind of be like a slideshow. You've got different cool backgrounds. It just has a little bit more to offer than Google Slides. You can upload your own images. You can choose just a plain color. So I could just change my colors here of my background. And then it just has different ways to lay out. It has stuff, and when you double click on it, you can put in images. It just has a little bit different layouts that you can do. And then you can create a video right here of yourself presenting. So you can play your presentation, or back to edit, you can create a video. So it'll make a video of you right alongside your presentation. So that's a great app that's free for you to use, that you can use to make your presentation, or you can always do a Google Slide show, so you know how to use your Google Slides for the most part. Then I would say the easiest way to do. Okay, so the best way to record a video for your Google Meets is to open up a Google Meet session, start or join a meeting. You can just nickname it whatever. I just usually name mine math. I don't need my camera on right now, so I'm going to turn it off. And then join now. I don't need to share my information. So now I have a Google Meets open. I'm going to turn on Present Now. Share your screen. I want to share this screen. Then I'm going to click over here, because then it will show my screen and it will record my voice as long as I go here. And I'm going to turn on my record meeting. I'm going to accept, and then it will start recording. I can turn on my slideshow, and I won't be in the video for this one. Well, yes, I will, because you will still be in your video on your screen. If you have your camera turned on, if you have your camera turned off, you won't be in the video. But then you are going to just be presenting and your video, and then at the end you hit record again, or no, you hit stop recording, and then you hit stop recording. And your recording will be saved to your Google Drive, and then you can just upload it to your project. It takes a little while though to get it saved to your Google Drive. So it takes about 10-15 minutes depending on how long your video is for it to show up in your Google Drive. So don't be surprised if it doesn't show up right away. So those are the two different main ways that I would suggest presenting and turning your project into a video. If you have any questions, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer them and help you out. Otherwise, good luck.